Hello YouTube and good morning. Let's tab into the game here. So this is the first instructional video for Hearthstone that I've made so far. I've received a lot of requests on what is the first legendary I should craft. If I'm brand new to Hearthstone, I don't have any legendaries yet. And my answer would be, if you're brand new to Hearthstone, don't craft a legendary. Because the chances are you still don't have a lot of the good rare and common cards that you need to get a high win percentage. But that also brings up the point, what's your purpose for playing the game? Do you just want to have fun? If you want to have fun, maybe you should actually craft a legendary. If you want a high win percentage, then you should focus on crafting high percentage, high value, rare and common cards that you really need to succeed on the ladder. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a rank 1 player. I missed Legends on Season 1 by about 3 stars, so a little bit about me. So I consider myself pretty good, and hopefully this season I will reach the Legends ranking and begin climbing on that ladder instead. So anyways, let's get right into it. So the first common card is going to be in the neutral section. That's the little teeth over here. The first common card with the highest value, and I know it's common, so you might think that you might get all the commons right away, which would seem logical, but that's not the case. I actually didn't get a lot of the commons I needed until after about a month of playing the game. So it actually is worth it to craft commons, and in this case, Harvest Golem. This, in my opinion, is the #1 most valuable common card in all of Hearthstone. I think you can check any high-ranked player's deck, any legendary player's deck, and in almost any scenario, they will always have 2 Harvest Golems. And for those of you who don't know, 2 is the maximum number of any card you can have in your deck in Hearthstone. The deck consists of 30 cards. And you can put, in theory, you can only use 15 and just have 2 of each to make a deck. So if someone puts 2 of a card in their deck, that means it's really important. And Harvest Golem is one of those cards. You can see the death rattle. What that means is that when the creature dies, something happens. Right? So the death rattle could be draw a card, which there are. There are cards that are called like Loot Hoarder that does that. So when this guy dies, summon a 2/1 damaged golem. So the 2/3 dies, and he's replaced with a 2/1. Now the reason why that's so good and that's so annoying is because one spell takes out Harvest Golem, but they have to use another spell or another creature to take out the respawn. And that's why this card is better than almost any other card in the game, because it actually almost always goes 2 for 1. And in Hearthstone terms, 2 for 1 means your opponent spends 2 cards to get rid of your 1 card. And in terms of drawing cards out of the deck, it's important to gain an advantage in the terms of trading cards, so that they run out of cards before you run out of cards, so that your hand is full, their hand is empty, and it allows you more options to deal with the fewer options that they have in their hand. And in theory, that's what allows you to win games more easily. Now the next card you should be crafting is going to be right over here. If you're brand new to the game, this one actually is kind of debatable. But if you're brand new to the game and you're looking for a solid 3-drop to play, and 3-drop means it costs 3 mana. That's this 3 in the top left-hand corner. If you're looking for a solid 3-drop to play, Scarlet Crusader is extremely powerful. Before I had any legendaries, I actually used 2 Scarlet Crusaders in my deck, and I was able to reach rank 5 with no legendaries. So yeah, Scarlet Crusader is excellent. Once again, she usually goes 2 for 1 because she has what's called a Divine Shield. It's a bubble that appears around her card, so that any damage dealt to her does not actually hurt her, so the 1 health doesn't matter. And then they need to get rid of the shield, and they need to deal 1 damage to kill her. Once again, it's very similar to the Harvest Golem. However, she can be countered by things like a Blood Knight, which is this guy over here. Right here. This guy actually soaks up any divine shields that are still on the battlefield and gains stats for each one that was soaked up. So it's something to be careful, but you really only see this at higher ranks. At lower ranks, you should be able to rank effectively just with the Scarlet Crusader without having to worry. So now let's look at what kind of deck you're crafting. If you're crafting any sort of aggro deck, and I always recommend newer players to craft aggro decks, Leper Gnome is actually one of the cards you should craft. It's extremely effective. Even if he dies, he still deals 2 damage. And if he doesn't die, he could potentially deal 2 from attacking. And he only costs 1 mana. This card is especially effective in a rogue deck because he only costs 1. And a lot of rogue spells require combo effects, which means you need to play a card beforehand to gain the combo effect from the rogue card you are playing. So because he's very inexpensive, you can use him just to throw him out there to combo one of your other rogue cards. And he's very effective at dealing damage. You can also kill your own Leper Gnome in many cases just to deal 2 damage if they have taunts up on the board. Taunts meaning characters like Shield Bearer. When a taunt is on the board, you can't attack through him. You have to attack him before you attack the hero. Also, let's see here, one of the best, let's go to the 1-drops. Argent Squire. This card right here is insane. Divine Shield 1/1. It doesn't look very powerful, but it is. Especially if you're playing cards with buffs like Defender of Argus, Dark Iron Dwarf, Shattered Sun Cleric, all of that stuff that buff a creature. If she lives, she's extremely powerful. And oftentimes she's just really annoying and hard to deal with. And on turn 1, there's almost no removal spell in the game that can get rid of Argent Squire except for Earth Shock from Shamans. So you're almost guaranteed to have something still on the board, unless they use something like Arcane Missiles, which is only a 50-50 chance to hit the Argent Squire. Now also, one of the other cards you should craft or focus on getting, well actually not in terms of crafting, but you should have Shattered Sun Clerics in almost all your deck if you're a new player. They're very high value. Very good cards, and they can buff the Argent Squire like I was talking about earlier. But also, okay, these guys right here. So Dark Iron Dwarf and Defender of Argus. If you do not have these cards, you should. Dark Iron Dwarf, 4 for 4/4 and give a minion +2 attack. Essentially that's 4 mana for 8 worth of stats by the 4/4 and then +2, so for 10 worth of stats. And in Hearthstone the golden rule is what you do is you multiply the card's cost by 2, and if that's the number of stats the card has, then it's normal value. That's the baseline for Hearthstone. So 4, 4, 4. That's your baseline. If it was 5 for 4/4, it would be a low value card. But usually, if it's a low value card in terms of cost to health and attack, what they do is they add a taunt modifier, or they add a card draw modifier, or something in here to offset the numbers. And that's the theory behind the Hearthstone model, and also most of the other trading card game models as well. But this guy's extremely high value, and that +2 damage on something like an Argent Squire, if it's still on the board, can allow it to kill a 3 health minion for free, because it would just bounce the Divine Shield of the Argent Squire and essentially do nothing. Defender of Argus, this guy is insane also. 4 mana for 6 worth of stats, but +1/+1 to adjacent minions, which is 2 minions if you put him in the middle. So it's basically +2/+2. So this one is actually 10 worth of stats as well, the same as the Dark Iron Dwarf, 3/3 and then 1/1 over here and 1/1 over here, for a total of 10 stats for only 4 mana. It's really, really insane, and that's why these 2 cards are the highest in the game in terms of modifiers and values, in my opinion, but also because of the taunt modifier as well, in which case Defender of Argus is higher value because taunt counts as a beneficial modifier that needs to be factored in when considering value. But either way, these 2 guys are absolutely insane. And the last card I would recommend if you are new to the game is to craft an Argent Commander. These guys also go 2 for 1. They have charge. If you go through and you look through the deck, there are so many creatures with 4 health, and oftentimes you'll find yourself in a situation needing to deal 4 damage exactly. as it turns out, to a creature to survive or to stay in the game, or even directly to the hero. And he has a Divine Shield, so he can charge in, which means he doesn't have summoning sickness. He can immediately attack once you play him, and he can remove a creature, and that only removes his Divine Shield bubble, which means that he kills something and he's still on the board. There's still 6 worth of stats on the board once he kills something, despite the fact that it looks like 6 for 6 is bad. That's why these 2 modifiers are here, the Charge and Divine Shield. And because he essentially goes 2 for 1 by removing a card and then forcing your opponent to use another card to remove on him, that's why he's so good. And that's why those cards are the best initial cards, in my opinion, to craft if you're new to Hearthstone. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I will be uploading more videos in the future soon. I will also be going into certain types of decks and classes, and I will also make a Legendaries video to craft, but I wanted to get this out of the way first because the open beta is coming soon, and I want you guys to be prepared and to have a better sense of what to craft as soon as you get into the game if you are interested in ranking effectively, or if you just want to know what the best cards are. So thank you again for watching. I hope you will subscribe and like the video if you like the content. And yeah, I hope that you will also leave me feedback on what videos to make in the future. I appreciate you watching. Let's tab out here for a second. My video editing quality is still not excellent, I would say. I'm just doing this through XSplit. But anyways, thank you again, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a good day.